Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
In space, no one can hear you scream unless, of course, you're bitten and dragged off by baby Gorn. Then everybody hears. The USS Peregrine is missing. Following a distress signal, your mission, rescue the survivors, bring back the ship, and don't get Gorn spooge in your face.
What the hell? 007, it's not gonna happen, Dot. I don't care how much you spit at me. I'm not gonna give birth to baby Dots. No. Hey, tell the rest of the Dots stop spitting at people because it's not gonna work. You're not reproducing by spitting lubricant at people. I can see the damn light. It's strobing back and forth like a Cylon again. Thank you for the reminder. I do see it. Chief was very good in making sure I could. Yeah. Anybody could see that light. Okay. Wait, what? What is Heather doing? I'll find out when we get to... Thank you. Just go. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon when and how you're listening to us. Welcome to another exciting episode of Starfleet Underground. I'm here with the full crew complement today. We have myself, which is Captain Nathan Adams, and we're here with our lovely science officer, which the Dot tells me that you're doing what?
I am just fondly reminiscing of the day that you promoted me from ensign to lieutenant. Do you remember that, Captain?
Yeah, that was on this show.
Yeah, I tried to cook you dinner and everything, and you promoted me if if I promise never to do that again because the kitchen sort of caught on fire.
Yeah, that was a thing. So I hope you're not trying to do that again.
I don't know. I was thinking about wanting another promotion.
Security, lock all access to the galley from Heather, please. Including replicators. Priority one. Authorization.
How else am I supposed to eat?
You're going to have to eat out.
543.
You have to get eaten out. Eat out.
Oh, well. I could do that.
I got one of the Dots will order you whatever you want.
Oh, cool. I have a personal waiter.
Now that you said it, I have to rethink this after the show. And next we have our most awesome computer person, except he's on an away mission. Where are you again? What ship?
I'm on the USS Peregrine.
What are you doing there again? I didn't read the orders. I know it got cut from the Admiral.
Playing with myself. What do you think?
Why would you play with yourself on a different star? Oh, you wanted to go where no one has gone before.
He's got the whole ship to himself.
I got the whole ship in my hand. I got the whole ship.
What's the name of the ship?
USS Peregrine.
Oh, shit. That was the one that was in that episode.
Yeah.
All right. Well, bring back intel, whatever you can find. That's pretty awesome that they picked you out of everyone to go look at it. Of course, we also have our most amazing person that makes us go, we have Chief. He makes us smart.
I'm smart. Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky, engineer of the show and the ship. And I've been getting smart because I've been watching the Sex in Star Trek series from Jesse Gender on YouTube.
Oh, really?
That sounds interesting.
The second part of the series came out last week, and it's so long, I'm still watching it. It's like 5.5 hours long. But seriously, I'm not joking. It's 5.5 hours long. But that they're talking about sex in Star Trek. The first part was just basically the original series stuff and things about Gene Roddenberry in the beginning and all the women involved in the show and all this and that. Well, this was all about Next Generation. So there was a lot to cover. I mean, just Riker himself had a huge section, and that's just talking about Riker. But
so basically you're saying our podcast is right up Star Trek stream?
Sure, why not?
Wait, before you continue.
No,
before you continue, Chief, I know we have some underage kids listening because every time you said sex, I heard giggling on the feedback.
No, that was just
a reminder. This podcast is not for children. If you're under the age of 18, turn it off, go away, come back when you sprout hair. Just leave us alone, okay? We're not for you. And I'm sorry if this show offends you, but we're having fun. Go ahead, continue.
But yeah, this YouTube video series that Jesse's been doing this is a really prolific person on Trek Twitter and YouTube. They've got it all covered. It's like very, very thorough. The details involved, and you know they're hardcore Trekkie. It is also funny at the same time, so I have to applaud that. I mean, just the first few minutes, if you watch this part on YouTube, just the few minutes, like the humor's all there. It's all up our alley. Also, the level of detail in the documentary stylings of the actual coverage about Star Trek is second to none. It's just as good as any other documentary on Star Trek you've ever seen, if not even more thorough sometimes. So I'm a big fan. I think they're doing a great job, and y'all should check it out.
I'm going to plan to. It sounds really interesting, and I always like hearing all the inside tracker stuff. So that's a big positive. I just lost my train of thought. I guess all that sex on the brain from Star Trek, huh? Well, first of all, I'd like to say that this show is being brought to you by Section 31, as well as our Patreon users. Thank you for continuing to be our Patreon people. We truly appreciate it, as well as all of our listeners, new and old. So thanks for that.
Should we plug our swag store real quick?
Oh, that's right. We have the store. It's opened up. I saw it on deck 4. If you want to get items or anything for the show, please go ahead and go. What's our link?
That's a good question. We'll put it in the show notes.
We'll put it in the show notes because I don't remember. But we do have some interesting stuff up there. I love the one where it's an Adam Soon quote. What was it?
People are idiots.
That's a good one.
It was very appropriate and timely with it coming out, too.
Yeah, very.
And if you order, you just might get a thank you on the show. So there's that added bonus to get your name mentioned on the show. So yay, unless we can't do that. I don't know who's running it. The angry Ferengi that's down there. Every time somebody orders it and he wants to charge them more and we tell him no, he gets pissed off and throws shit around. But anyway, what better person to help run the show? So that's a good thing. Now we're going to go into corrections. Did you get a chance to check corrections before you went away on your away mission there, Pat?
Let me check. Hold on. Subspace is a little wanky down here. Nope. Everything's clear.
Why are there lights flashing behind you?
Because
the whole ship is like disco mode.
Yeah.
Danger,
what the hell's going on?
Danger.
It's like a nonstop red alert.
He's
see
having
you.
a party.
It looks like a rave, except there's no music.
You didn't
party in my pants.
Well, I don't want to go there. Never mind.
No.
Neither does anyone else, so it's a solo party.
That's
I'm familiar with those.
Yeah, I think a lot of us at one time or another are familiar with that. News. Go ahead, Heather. What do you got for us?
All right, Captain. So Lower Decks Season 3 will air sometime this year. They haven't released a date yet, but Mike McMahon and the writers are writing Season 4 right now. The show is expected to dig into certain facets of Trek cultures that may have been missed on the first go-around. So we are going to be visiting previously visited planets or meet groups that we have met one or more times in the past. So this should be pretty interesting.
That sounds like a ton of fun. I'm waiting for some more Lower Decks. It was so much fun.
That does.
Why are you making a fat joke?
Why would he do that?
He said a ton of fun.
No, that's 2 tons of fun.
Okay.
It would be a blast. What, am I making explosive jokes now? What?
Well, since somebody's in a jokey mood because they're out of the ship and on an away mission, what do you got for us, news?
Well, the only thing that I saw that I don't know if anyone else got this one or not, but Season 2 of Strange New Worlds has finished shooting.
Nice.
They wrap production.
Oh, talking about things looking flashy in the background. They're posting pictures of, the big virtual wall, and they fucking have fireworks going off on it because they're celebrating the final stuff.
Oh,
That's
wow.
pretty friggin' cool.
And there's another one where I think it was sick bay turned into a disco mode because they switched the lights into disco mode. And it's just, they're having a good time.
That sounds like so much fun.
It really should.
Can you see the little Gorns disco dancing like John Travolta?
Oh my God.
Dude, Spaceballs, where he pops out, the little alien pops out and then dances on the bar.
Yes.
Hello,
that
my baby.
right there.
Hello, my darling. Hello, my right.
It's so classic.
Love that movie.
This Star Trek Strange New Worlds is also making history with us here at the show. It's the highest rated series that we've had so far.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Because it's damn good Trek.
Every single one of us. I think the lowest we ever had was an 8 for this show. It's all been consistent 9s all the way through.
This is a very rare incident where season 1 of a new series is actually good.
Yeah, it's very good. And I think it goes with the strength of the cast as well as the writing. So it's pretty
also,
cool.
The cast was able to sort of get the hang of their characters in Discovery before coming to Strange New Worlds. And I think that helped a lot because if you look at the last series, you know, any series, the original, well, not the original, Next Generation, Voyager, you know, Enterprise, it's like always the first season is the worst. And I think that's because people are trying to get into their character and they're getting more familiar with their character. Whereas these actors have had Discovery to get familiar with their characters.
I don't think it's the familiarity with the characters, but I mean, that they are familiar with their characters and their roles, and they're playing a great job. I think they've just got the Star Trek machine has been fired up for the last several years, and it's hitting on all cylinders right now. Talk about how much you hate Discovery as much as you want, but a lot of, you know, the basics of putting a show together, getting your studios running and getting the effects teams going and getting in sync. The whole background team is just firing all thrusters right now. It's so cool to see a production when it's just working. And that's just their first season. They just finished the second one. And, you know, it's just amazing.
Also, you get the strength of the lead. Or the actual captain of a series is usually the captain of the vessel as well. Like Shatner was supposed to be captain of the crew as well as the actors, but it wind up in later time being Nimoy and Patrick Stewart, and how he took charge and made sure all of his actors were. And when they get used to him, once he finally figured out that this wasn't a short-term gig like he thought it was, they turned out some really good stories and really good things. And I think it's the same thing with Michael Burnham, with Sonequa, and also with Ensign Mount. He's just a phenomenal person, and it gives the crew a safe place to be who they are, as well as the directors, allowing them to know their characters and do the role. It's most awesome. I like it a lot. News-wise over there, what do you have for us, Chief?
Oh, well, let's see. My news, of course, I was looking at Star Trek Prodigy. It's going to start airing weekly on Nickelodeon beginning July 8th, and depending on your time zone, 8 p.m. And that's just awesome. The first two-parter, they're going to do the full hour, and then the rest of the 10 episodes will air on the Fridays throughout August 5th. So that's cool. And then, of course, it'll be available on Nick.com, the Nick app, Nick On Demand, and additional encores on Nicktoons. In addition to being on... I don't know who Nick is and why he's so demanding. It'll also be on Paramount Plus, like it still is now. And the next 10 episodes will drop later this year on Paramount Plus.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah.
Good.
And then for those that are going to go to San Diego Comic-Con, Shatner will be in Hall H.
With a new documentary, right?
A brand new documentary that they're still working on. And apparently Shatner is not known for having documentaries made about him. So this should be interesting because he normally doesn't. Well, he doesn't like to get, he's about the raw nerve, but their spin on this is they're taking off all the masks of Shatner. So they're getting down to the Shatner. So whoever is producing this documentary apparently hit it off pretty well with Shatner, and is very trusting what's going to come of this. So this should be pretty interesting. But yeah, they're having a whole to-do in Hall H. Kevin Smith is going to be part of the panel interviewing, and then Shatner's going to go do an event where he puts a handprint on something or other, and they cement it in, and there's a thing going on at the theater box, whatever theater box is. You can go to trekmovie.com and look up the article and get all the little gritty details, but that'll be all on July 21st at San Diego Comic-Con.
And if you're lucky, you see George Takei will look at Shatner and go, "Fuck you and the horse you rode in on."
That would be awesome if you could get George Takei to be the first in line to ask questions. That would be sweet.
Oh my God!
So, Captain number 1, are you guys going to Comic-Con?
Yeah, We'll have a table there if anybody wants to listen and find us. You can find us in the fan table section on the mezzanine, where we have our own private food court. So you'll be able to see us. And we have our own private trucks in the back, which is real easy to go down and come up again. So if you want to come by, see us.
Just like the food at Comic-Con.
Yep. It'll be the food at Comic-Con, except...
No. The food goes down and comes right back up again.
Yeah, it does exercises.
Yeah.
So not fun times. But we'll be there if you want to see us. And usually one of us will be out scouting the area real quick for exclusives and run back, but we'll be there. Okay, news. I'm going to bring the show down just a little bit. For those of you that know who Doug Drexler is, he's the most awesome human being. I've met and talked with him multiple times. You just can't express how nice this guy is and how much backstory he has on the building of the ships and the things that they've done and everything he has a hand in. The love of his life, his beautiful wife, Dorothy, passed on. So they've been married a long, long, long time. And for those of you still not aware, Drexler has been a set model pro all the way through. What?
Drexler,
that's what I said.
No, you didn't.
Well, anyway, you translate for me. He does Star Trek, and as well as Orville. He's done Rip. He's done a lot of different things on there.
That's one of the names, if you've been a geek about Star Trek and special effects, you recognize that name right away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His name always
just like the Okudas.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's right up there with them.
Which, if those of you that follow the Okudas, I'll switch to a little bit of happier news, at least a little bit. There's a show on Apple TV called For All Mankind, and they reimagine what would have happened if Russia beat us to the moon.
Oh, that's a crazy show. And you know who else is involved with it, along with Star Trek alumni Ronald D. Moore.
And the Okudas.
Yeah. So
the Okudas also.
It's
I want Okuda more.
It's a wacky thing if you start watching this and you're expecting a standard space thing. It is not standard whatsoever.
No.
It's fucking cool.
They use historical footage and they manipulate some of it. So in the beginning, you do get like Nixon's voice and
even sometimes it feels they reenact stuff that didn't happen, historically accurate sounding, and they make the astronauts do crazy shit that you never think these astronauts or their people behind the scenes would do. It kind of gets a little uncomfortable at points, but it's worth continued watching. It's quite the drama and quite fun to watch.
It really is. And the new season, the first season is what happens to America when Russia beats us to the moon. The next season is the race to Mars. So it's really cool.
Amazing.
So it's most awesome. So that's our news section today. So we hit all that. So next is who we have now that's going to be doing the recap. I don't recall. Is it you, Patrick?
Yes. But first, before we jump into the recap, I want to cover something real quick. So this episode was aired on June 30th, which was the last day of Pride. And in celebration of Pride, we wanted to spotlight the only open out queer cast member of Strange New Worlds, which is Celia Rose Gooding. This is her first TV role. She was born in 2000. Can you believe? She's only 22. I mean,
wow. Oh, dude, I did not know that. Oh, my God.
That is so young.
My brain.
I know, right?
Is this how you develop old brain, sir? It just gets old?
Yes. So her mother, you may know, if you follow Broadway, you may know her mother. Her mother is the Tony Award-winning actress LaChanze, who was starred in The Color Purple. And they made history being the first mother and daughter team to perform on Broadway at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Celia is also a Tony-nominated actress for Jagged Little Pill and won a Grammy for Best Musical Theater Album in 2021. A little sad note, her father was killed in the World Trade Center on 9/11.
Oh, wow.
But this is a statement she made about playing in Jagged Little Pill and about being queer. She said, taking on the role of Frankie Healy has created more personal growth. I play an openly queer Black character, and I get so many messages from other Black queer folks saying how the show helped them come out to their families. The more we normalize queerness in the Black community, the more acceptance there will be. Something I'm still learning and working on is caring less about other people's comfort. I'm not going to make myself small so others can see me. You're going to see all of me, and you're going to go cross-eyed trying to. I, as a black queer woman, am worthy of all things despite what this country tells me. I am a full-fledged human and deserve to be treated as such like my white, straight, cis actors. If you want to give me 200% while accepting others 100, then we are not on the same team. I refuse to make myself small for anyone. I got too much stuff I gotta do. Boom.
You're here.
Outstanding. I'm glad.
So her being the only out actor on the show, we just wanted to give her a little high five and say, way to go, girl. I believe she identifies as non-binary, if I'm not mistaken, but, who knows? So on to the recap, right?
Yes. Yeah? And also, yes. And thank you for also being a proud member, as we are all allies.
Oh, yeah. High fives and hugs, and you guys can hang out with us anytime.
Cool.
Yeah.
Queer Nation. We're here. We're queer. Get used to it. Woo. Anyway, okay. So this episode, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 1, Episode 9. Teaser.
Number nine.
We only got one more left.
Number 9.
Yeah, I know.
The title is All Those Who Wander. Teaser. Should I stay or should I go now? Ma'am, I already said it was not indigenous. It was a derelict spacecraft. It was an alien ship. It was not from here. Do you get it? We homed in on its beacon.
The IQs dropped sharply when she was away.
What show are we watching?
I know, right? Uhura laments her assignment on Enterprise is over, and that this place she ran to, unlike other cadets who dreamed of being in Starfleet. Pike congratulates cadets Chia and Uhura on completing their training rotations. Both were exemplary members of the crew. Pike promotes Ensign Duke to lieutenant. Uhura hates goodbyes. Pike asks if she's going to stay aboard. There's always a place for her on Enterprise. Spock breaks in with a Priority 1 mission from Starfleet Command. While Pike is cleaning up after the party, Spock explains to him, Uhura, and Benga La'an that 4 days earlier the USS Peregrine activated its distress beacon. The message took 2 days to reach Starfleet and 2 days to reach them. The Peregrine was making an unscheduled landing on a Class L planet, Vallejo Beta 5, when their transmission was cut off. La'an thinks they may have crashed, but Spock thinks that the planet's interference due to the charged nitrate ions in the upper atmosphere. The planet is known as a dead zone. No comms, no transporters. La'an suggests sending a landing party to rescue the crew on Vallejo Beta 5, as their current mission would go dark without the Vidian power cells. 2 shuttles of the rescue party land, including Mbenga, Kirk, Chapel, Chia, Uhura, Duke, and Hemmer. No life signs detected due to the interference, but it may not be the scanners as they come upon a bloody body.
Bum, bum, bum.
This started off as really kind of cool in a way, because now they're getting promoted. We actually see a promotion. Sorry, Harry Kim, on the ship. So I thought Kim. that was kind of neat. And her not deciding what she wants to do, and people are giving her like little sage advice, and he makes Spock do the dishes. That's fucking awesome.
Oh, multitasking.
I love that. And Spock has an apron, and Spock's like, you want me to do what?
It looks like it's one of those acting exercises. Okay, recite a situation in Star Trek while doing the dishes. What?
God.
And his captain's privilege. She's like, I don't want to do the fucking dishes.
Did we just watch whose line is it anyway? It's like, what happened? Drew Carey just said what?
Yeah.
Well, the captain just cooked. After you cook something so delicious,
did you see that
I wouldn't
spread?
Want to do that either.
Oh
that
my God,
good.
They just knocked out. Going to IHOP. Hello, I'm going to the captain's quarters.
I love what they do. Where Una's like, no, you got to try the food, and the doctor's like, no, you really got to try the food. And
you got to try it all.
Okay, fine, I'll try it. And she tasted. She's like, oh my God, this is delicious.
Yeah.
Like the look on her face, I'm like, oh my God, I wish I was there eating that.
Their replicators are not programmed correctly, because this meal is something else.
The captain cooked it.
Yeah.
That wasn't
it wasn't
a
recycled
replicator.
poop.
No
shit.
It's so much better. It's so much better than the replicated stuff.
And I like
well,
the way
they probably couldn't replicate anything because their Vidian power cells were low.
But I like the fact that how he always takes personal interest in the crew. That's how you really get a really good
I love the gathering. Just gather everyone together and just hang out. I think that's really cool.
It is. And you don't often see that. You only saw a little bit of it, but it was only like the senior people with Archer. But here, he really goes out of his way to make it feel like family.
Yeah, there's no separation between lower decks and the above decks. I mean, it's all, everybody come out, we're going to just do, we're going to hang out, we're going to do this thing, we're going to promote somebody. You guys are welcome to have, the brunch or whatever we're having. I thought that was just great.
It's like one big happy family. And he even sort of like says that or mentions that when he's like, oh, let's take the kids out on one last road trip.
Oh, the station wagon. Yes.
Yeah, the station wagon. I'll turn the station wagon around.
You see, before there were minivans and shuttlecraft, there was the station wagon. And it was the weirdest abomination you've ever seen because it had like fake wood paneling on the side and it had seats all the way back, like back. You faced the window. You looked out the back window. Oh, man, that was such a trip.
I spent many a summer going cross country as a kid in the back of a station wagon.
Yeah, I've been in those also, which was...
With 5 brothers and sisters, all of us in a station wagon.
It's a crazy thing to go to the drive-in in one of those.
Can you find it? Are they around anymore? Can
you have to look for the
station wagons or drive-ins?
Oh, okay.
Well, drive-ins are still around. You can still go to. There was one when I was taking care of my dad. There was one right outside of Shelton that you could go to.
They're definitely a lot more rare than they used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Think of a car with 3 bench seats in the back.
Yeah.
But the bench seat is faced weird.
Yes, and you can fold them down, and so the kids can be bombed around like pinballs on the inside.
Dude, I got a stupid story I have to share. So I went to a drive-in just once, only once. I had no clue what I was doing. And I drive in and I pay and I go in and I'm like, okay, how the fuck do I hear this? And they're like, oh, you need a radio. I don't have a freaking radio in my car.
They didn't have the speakers on the poles?
No, there's no speaker.
Oh.
Like you had to tune into the radio.
You went to one of the newer drive-ins.
No radios. Oh, is that new? Is that a new thing?
See, back in the
usually on a pole.
when they used to do it, there was a bunch of poles everyone would park next to, and there's a little speaker box.
And you hook it on your windshield.
Nice.
You hook it on your window.
You would hang it on your window, you halfway roll up your window, and you'd hook the speaker up there.
That would have been nice.
And no, it sucked. It had the worst sound. It sounded like a megaphone.
I had no sound. I had to drive out of there because I couldn't hear anything because I had no sound. I was so upset.
No,
it was
I saw Airplane in the drive-in theater when I was I think I was maybe 11 or 12. And when the stewardess came by and asked the little girl how she wanted her coffee, and she said black like my men, I had no idea what she was talking about. But my dad, my stepmom, and my stepsister were cracking up. And I'm like, what? Me didn't get it.
Oh, I got to see Ghostbusters at the drive-in.
That's cool.
And that was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, the very first drive-in I went through to see was with, I guess, what do you call somebody? My sister's husband.
Brother-in-law?
Brother-in-law saw the Octagon with Chuck Norris. And then, so I remember that. And the next one I saw was in the Marines. We went with this Navy girl to see Fright Night. And I know that's one of Patrick's favorite movies. And I saw that. And the Navy girl was sitting in the front passenger side. And I went to go get popcorn and I snuck back alongside of the car. And I waited to the scene where the vampire melts on the stairs. And as soon as he started to melt on the stairs, I reached up and grabbed Rama and I went, "Whoa!" And she screamed. She freaked out. Stuff went everywhere. Everyone started bopping their horns and flashing their lights.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, yeah. No, that's apparently if something goes wrong with the film, they start flashing their lights and honking their horns. It's a crazy event. And I remember watching the movie Better Off Dead. Was it Better Off Dead?
Oh, man.
Where they went to the movie theater. And the drive-in, and his defense mechanism with dating this girl that he's a little nervous about is a huge bag of popcorn. And that was just, that was the thing in the drive-ins. We would get this huge, ginormous bag of popcorn, and you'd go eat the popcorn out of the bag at the drive-in, and then you'd have this bag of popcorn with you the rest of the week. Crazy memories.
And for those of you that want to relive this, yes, we are. Just wanted to leave one final note is that drive-ins are making a comeback. Just go ahead and Google. You'll find one in your area now because of COVID.
Oh, and remember a radio.
Yes.
So I have a Easter egg for this section. I actually have a couple Easter eggs.
Okay.
Not all those who wander are lost. You guys recognize that quote?
Yes, it's from J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yes. From which book?
It's from, I believe it's from the Fellowship, but it might be from Return of the King.
Nope, you were right. The first book, Fellowship of the Ring. And then here's another Easter egg. Did you guys recognize Starbase K7, where they're delivering supplies to?
Yeah, they need to get a shipment of quadritriticale. Yeah.
Quadritriticale.
Do you know where that's from, though?
Yeah, that's the original series with the Trouble with Tribbles.
Yes, It was from the Trial of Tribbles.
Yep. I thought it was a KY gel.
Yeah, they get some of that too. There's a lot. They move a lot of interesting product on K7.
It was a Starbase, not an applicator, Patrick.
Now, just so you know, in this episode, the year is 2259, and in Trials with Tribbles, that's 9 years later in 2268.
Wow.
So this is interesting. That by 9 years.
Getting close, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That is cool.
I like the way this whole thing sets up, because there's a lot of interesting things going on. We talk about the characters having to deal with PTSD, and La'an's been talking to the head shrinker, apparently. That's kind of a thing they have to do.
Dr. Sanchez.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad they show mental health is important, you know?
Completely.
They've had that doctor on once before, but it was so brief that you like literally have just a fuzzy little image of him in the background and like no information about him.
Yeah, so I'm glad that they're doing that. They're hitting, the more I watch this show, the more it feels like a true military, somebody who you have an excellent captain and you're serving with. It really does a good job. I had that with one of my captains. It's just awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Let's I guess continue on this thing. So I guess we go to the next section.
Act 1. Dallas, are you sure there's no sign of it? I mean, it is there. It's got to be around there. Get away from her, you bitch. As the crew enters the ship, they find more bodies. Bridge controls are completely offline. Their main functions rerouted to engineering. Spock works on bridge controls while Hammer goes to engineering. La'an reports finding 20 more dead crew, some of them picked apart. Outside, Kirk, Chapel, and Duke find more torn-apart bodies. Uhura gets audio of the ship's log where Captain Gavin reports they picked up 3 castaways on an M-class planet. A girl, a humanoid of unknown origin, and an Orion named Pasco. Pasco turned out to be infected with Gorn eggs, and the ship's biofilters didn't detect them, but Pasco knew and tried to blow himself up with a plasma grenade in engineering. Pike asks La'an what they should do. Kill the Gorn. But she'd settle for finding survivors and getting the hell off that planet. Uhura gets internal sensors up and detects 2 life signs on Deck 5, a human and an unknown. As Pike, Uhura, and La'an investigate Deck 5, they come upon a blue-skinned humanoid with a weapon. The universal translator is unable to decipher its language, to which La'an tells Uhura to hop on it. That's not how linguistics works. Uhura thinks that he may be protecting another life sign. In sickbay, Spock asks for supplies to treat Duke's burns, which she got in the Jeffries tube. Chapel tells him the Duke is acting tough. She's heard that Vulcans have a hidden primal nature. Spock informs her that Vulcan emotions are dangerous without proper mindfulness. While Uhura and Hammer work to restore power, they chat about whether Uhura has made the decision about Starfleet, and he tells her that he thinks she's afraid of putting down roots, as it's better to leave than be left. In sickbay, Oriana and Buckley, the blue guy, get checked out. La'an wants to make sure that they aren't infected, and Benga tells her twice he's conducted thorough scans. La'an grills Oriana as to why she didn't say anything to Captain Gavin about the infected Orion. In the CMO's office, La'an finds evidence that Oriana was a missing girl from 2 years earlier, and she thinks that the castaways were left on a Gorn breeding planet. And Benga tells La'an that Oriana may need some help getting through the experience, and La'an would be the perfect choice. Buckley's breathing becomes labored. Chapel sees unusual reddish veins. Oriana knows what's coming and hides. Chia is working to calibrate the biobed when Buckley screams and hatchlings leap out and slash her throat. Chapel returns to the horror show, and more hatchlings erupt from Buckley.
This turned into what should have been a simple away mission to a horror show that reminded me of Aliens.
Big time.
Yes.
Big time Aliens
really
vibes.
Did.
That's what those 2 quotes were from. Hello.
Yeah, we know your quotes.
My two quotes, they were from Aliens when Dallas is in the tubes.
But it's like when the babies pop out of the bodies. That reminded me of the dinner scene where the alien popped out of the chest.
Yeah, the chest burster.
Yeah.
Except it was a back burster.
Oh,
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
And the only other thing that's different, the Gorn are very similar, but they don't have acid for blood. So we're not worried about the deck plates melting.
They got the worst blood.
And it was very Alien, too, because in Alien, in Prometheus, there was a backburster.
Well, sometimes you don't want to go with the front. You want to take it out the back.
My question is I watched this a few times. I rewinded it a few times. I couldn't see how that medical officer in the blue shirt died. How did she die?
I wondered about that too.
It slashed her throat.
Oh, it slashed her throat?
I didn't see it either, but yeah, when I read it on Memory Alpha, it slashed
okay.
her.
Well, you can tell when she was down, the pool of blood was all around her head and everything. So it killed her. And it shows you, if you hear weird shit underneath the table you're working on, you just don't pop up and look. You roll away from that shit and look to see what's going on.
It was crazy watching the kid just go run and hide, and she covered her mouth.
And see, I was pissed at the kid.
Oh, I was too.
I was pissed. It's like, you could have said something, you little
bitch.
Come on.
Yeah, that kid was a little bit messed up on the communication skills. But can you blame her if she's seen the shit that she's seen?
I know, but she could have warned him. She could have said, hey, look out, something's going to happen. She's like, I'm going to hide over here and watch you die.
Right.
And it's not like, I mean, she could have told Captain Gavin, but she kept her mouth shut and caused this whole fucking mess in the first place. And then she kept her mouth shut again.
Yeah, all she could have said is like, they come out of your neck mostly.
They're dead. Can I go now? Okay.
It's like, man.
I definitely answered the question to how are they getting around a dark starship without any, lights on and there's no gravity. But the gravity was there because the thing was on a planet. So I completely blew that one last week. But I mean, this is such a crazy situation to be thrown into. It was like usually Star Trek people aren't thrown into aliens like this. I mean, they normally just
species 847
Well, even that was not like aliens. It was like completely different.
I heard somewhere, wasn't this supposed to be like the goriest, most scariest Star Trek episode?
Well, according to Will Wheaton, it is.
It was pretty damn scary.
Oh, that's where I heard it.
It was pretty damn well cut, too. I mean, the horror movie stylings, the jump scares, it was very well done. The lighting, when the starship that's been stranded on a planet for weeks and the power has been rerouted and down and everything's blown up and flickering.
It gives us more of a backstory on the Gorn, too, because all we got was a modified Slee-Slack that Kirk fought.
Slee-Stack.
Yeah, Slee-Stack that Kirk fought. But now it was actually a creature.
Did you say Kirk farted?
Fought.
Oh,
well, he did
I thought you said farted.
He probably farted when he saw the Gorn. I mean,
He did have that, too. I just
have this image of him fighting the Gorn and bending over and farting right in his face and winning.
I imagine that Gorn farted when he lifted up that rock to throw it at Kirk. You got to expel some energy to lift up a rock, right?
Oh, I wish they would have put that in there.
That could be a dub we could do.
They may recut it, but it was real funny because you see first, again, the little girl pissed at her.
Newt.
Yeah, well,
she should have been
Newt was
Newt.
even better on that because Newt knew her way around the Jeffrey tubes and everything in there.
This kid was just running and hiding.
Oriana kind of pretty much knew her way around too, because first she went and jumped on that bio bed, and then after that she ran into the coldest part of the ship because she knew that's where the Gorn didn't like to be. So she knew her. She was Newt.
She knew enough. Yeah,
she's like
not
a house
sharing
cat.
it. She should have said, "Hey, jump up on the bed because it's safer. They can't get you that way." Well, they can, but
like Newt said, she told Ripley, she's like, "We better go back. They mostly come at night. Mostly.
I
mean,
mostly.
Oriana could have said something like that, but she didn't.
Exactly. Newt was helpful. Ariana was like a house cat. They say cats can sense when the earthquake comes, but do they warn us? No, because they're little fucking assholes. And it's the same thing. The cat will just leave and not even tell you anything. They'll just, where's Fluffy? Fluffy's in the hills.
There were so many people on Facebook who were like, I'm just so disappointed in this episode. It was so lazy. Blah, 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 blah. It was aliens and Predator and blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? Then don't fucking watch it. I'm so fucking sick and tired of hearing people gripe about it.
Some people really like Aliens and Predator. This was really fun to watch.
Oh yeah, if you did, it hit all the bells. It was really good. Did you ever seen Spock be so jumpy? Ever?
No, he had like extra caffeinated tea this morning.
Something. I mean, and then it was some spooky shit. He's looking at the blood trail of somebody getting dragged off into the vent in the floor.
Well, and then Kirk gives him shit.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's wrong? You jumpy?
Yeah. Well, that was that Mbenga. And I was surprised Mbenga did that.
Was that Mbenga?
Yeah.
I was thinking that was Kirk.
No,
oh
Kirk
my God.
gives him shit later. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's the next section.
Next section.
Which I guess
should we go to the next section?
Yeah, because all of this stuff is like mangled bodies and everything. So yeah, let's go.
But we get to see for the very first time Baby Gorn.
For people who didn't watch the Ready Room, those were not CGI. Those were practical effects.
Oh man,
little
the effects
Gorn baby monsters.
I absolutely love that they're doing it that way.
Yeah.
I think it
I'm
looks
so glad they
phenomenal. It does dictate a style of lighting and editing, but that is classic horror movie. I mean, it's so well done.
And it makes it look so good. Don't CGI it.
Yeah, and you get clarity of detail when a light is bright, whereas CG generated stuff, they usually try to keep it dark so you don't notice so much it's CG.
And then they can take the puppeters, that's not the right word.
Puppeteers.
But the puppeteers, there you go, and remove them with the CG. Yep. So I just love that they could do all of this and make it work so well. It's just great.
Yeah.
And then people who are complaining, they're number one about how this is aliens v done. They did that in the first season of Discovery with the water bear. Remember, it was a dark corridor. You had the Klingon whisper, "Shh, is he sushing us?"
That was classic.
So it just sometimes what do you expect for a new monster? Some things are just have to be done.
I love how the Ready Room, like, when there's like a new kind of different episode that comes out, it takes us back and says, these are the times Trek has done this before in a similar way or something. I love that they're giving us those points in space.
I agree. It's nice because then you see how special effects has evolved over time.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting to see how they make this and what they're doing and what shows they're referencing.
Okay, next act. Act 2. 4 hatchlings enter. 1 hatchling leaves. Getting gooed. Kinky. Chapel jumps to the safety of a biobed and activates the containment field. And Banga treats Goo Burns as 2 hatchlings jump from the Jeffries tube and tear into him. He's dragged down the corridor screaming. Even Spock is shaken by the attack. Chapel looks for Oriana. La'an notes 4 hatchlings, 1 dead, and the bioscans are picking up no signs from them. They can hide from sensors. They find Oriana in the coldest part of the ship. La'an tells Oriana her brother died the same way that the others did. There's surviving, and then there's living. In engineering, Hemmer and Uhura complete the repairs. An alarm sounds, and Hemmer smells human blood. Kirk thinks they ought to head for the shuttles. Spock reminds him that the ice storm has just begun, and it would be unsafe to leave the ship. Pike orders everyone to sickbay over a ship-wide comm. In engineering, a hatchling leaps in, only to be killed by a bigger one, who spits goo at Uhura. Hemmer pushes her out of the way and gets gooed. La'an shoots at the Gorn, narrowly missing.
This part here was starting to get really kind of scary in that respects, because you get the guy who gets spit on, and he's trying to treat him for the burns. And you get the guy who's being drugged away in classic horror grab where people scrape their nails on the ground to trying to keep him being pulled away.
And how did 2 little hatchlings drag a fully grown man?
That was amazing to me because those suckers are strong.
Yeah.
They are scary.
They're extremely strong, and the fact that they were already growing that fast.
Well,
So I was blown away at how quickly the second they're born, one attacked the other one.
Now,
Look how
that
fast
was vicious.
Look how fast the xenomorph grew on Alien.
it's typically in nature, the faster something gestates and grows is usually means that they're prey animals, not predators. But these things are obviously predator animals that's through whatever evolution that happened on their planet, that they turn around and be the top apex creature on there because they're born intelligent, smart, and ruthless. So that's just, that small, like you said, until 2 of them grabs a full adult male screaming and they pull him off to do God knows what with it.
Rest in peace, Lieutenant Duke.
Or rest in pieces.
Right?
Yeah, rest in pieces for sure.
Yikes. That was some horror movie shit right there.
It was.
Where he's being dragged off and Spock is just shocked. Spock is left staring at his hands because he was just holding on to the guy for dear life and now he's gone. It was just kind of a shocking moment even for a Vulcan to experience.
It really affected him.
Yeah, we get to see more of Spock's human side in this episode for sure.
Yes. Spock got pissed. And that was fascinating.
You expect Cagney to come out and go, "Where's your Vulcan strength now, huh?" Because he couldn't hold on to the guy as he dragged him off.
Cagney?
Well, not Cagney. What was the guy from the?
I'm like, this is not Cagney and Lacey. I'm like, I don't
no,
know
not Cagney and Lacey from the old picture. Where do you go, say? Where's your Bible now, say? What's the guy's name?
Robinson?
Yeah, there you go. Edgar G. Robinson.
Edgar G. Robinson?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know that was a deep cut.
You were way off.
Thank you very much. But what I also enjoyed how they were switched to the Gorn's point of view.
Gorn Cam.
And they showed that Gorn was using infravision, ultravision, actually. It wasn't infrared because things weren't in a shade of red. They weren't showing heat, but they had ultravision, which goes into the spectrum of ultraviolet light. So I thought that was kind of neat the way they did that to take the predator vision, which you would have with, of course, the movie Predator, and they kind of switched it around to make it unique to the creature, which I thought was nice.
Well, it's like they made Predator and Alien into one alien.
Anybody who's grown up with those movies in the 80s are like, yeah, of course you would combine those two because that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is.
And it is.
That was pretty.
And it's a neat perspective too, because you don't normally see that angle from the alien attacking you, the thing attacking you that you don't know where it's coming from or what it is. You never see that angle of it. So at least not into that level of detail. So I think that Gorn Cam is really cool.
And then can we give Hammer a fucking high five for like
saving Uhura?
Saving Uhura. Hello.
Yeah.
Hammer is amazing.
I know.
Yeah, he got spooged in the face though.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being spooged in the face.
I never said there was anything wrong with that. It's just kind of a surprise.
Just don't get it in your eyes.
I guess it is always a surprise, isn't it?
When it
Even
results
when you're expecting it.
Yeah.
When the splooge results in babies, it's not a good thing.
You're jumping ahead.
Oh, right. Next section.
Well, he got it in the head, that's for sure.
He came up and Uhura was there, and I'm like, no, not my Uhura. How the hell does she live to the next season? Because I see her on the next show, but yet I'm so scared that she's going to die anyway.
Jesus.
He just pops up right in the nick of time, showing his reflexes and his ability. He gets her and he gets slimed.
It's the wrong place, wrong time, man.
Yeah, but he does get in the way of the thing. And yeah,
I'd like the pep talk Luan gave to the kid, saying there's surviving and then there's living.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah. that was
a
good.
Pep talk.
The one person that can at least get through to this kid and talk to this kid is actually someone who's gone through exactly what this kid has gone through.
Yeah,
because they didn't have that for Newt.
Really good.
Newt didn't get that.
No.
She just knew that Ripley was kind of cool. But she didn't, get like the exact representation of somebody who's actually gone through the exact shit.
And she was identifying with Ripley in that movie because, she opened up to her when she was cleaning her face. It's like, my name is Newt or Noopty. Nobody calls me that. Well, this little girl was just, what the hell? You need psychology. So
my name is that. Rebecca. Nobody calls me that.
That's right.
Only my brother.
Right.
But he's dead.
Can I go now?
Yeah, she just looked like Noop's doll with the eyes. Like no nightmares in there. It's a doll. Dolls don't dream.
Very practical. I love the practicalness of that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But this kid, we're still kind of questioning about, although it's definitely smart because it knows that the Gorn don't like the cold, and that's the best place to hide.
But again, share the knowledge.
Right. Should have told everybody, hey, let's go to the freezer because they don't come to the freezer.
Thank you. It's like being under the table and the floor is electrified and you see Patrick come into the room and you just watch.
Well, I love the way Chapel had up on the force field thing. That was really cool.
Yeah, she was quick. She was smart.
And then she disabled it and she claimed down with her 1 foot at a time thing. That was like horror movie mode right there.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Or like a little kid, the monster's under the bed. So you're going to test if it's still there with your big toe before you get out.
Is it going to eat my foot? I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I used to have really bad dreams as a kid about the monsters under the bed. Like I literally in my dreams, there would be a little like plank walkway between bed and all the way down the hallway that you'd have to walk on. Because if you fell off, the monsters would get you. I would dream about that.
Wow.
That's scary.
I just dreamed about the vacuum in the closet. I didn't like the noise the vacuum made.
Hey, I thought you.
No, I wasn't talking about that. What are you talking about?
Oh, that explains how come every time we went in a room together, you put a board between our beds. That explains it.
Well, that's just to keep you away.
All right, let's get
real quick. Yes, the other homage to Aliens. Sam Kirk is the guy that gets to lose it. He's like, "Fucking hey, man, let's go," and all that.
Oh yeah,
It's too cold outside and it's too warm, and we got killers in here.
Yeah. The only thing he didn't say is like, put Oriana in charge.
Dude's losing his shit. And then Pike comes on the speakers and says, okay, everybody, let's regroup in med lab. I mean, sick bay. Let's go regroup in sick bay.
Yeah. And they looking for Leon to be the expert, to be the expert on how to kill Gorn. And she's like,
she was all up for that job.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah. Well, she's got vengeance going on, and I still like her. This tough little cookie. Next.
Okay. Act 3. It can camouflage! My mind to your mind. Nothing. Release the Vulcan. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Okay, now that was funny.
Banga does a postmortem on the Gorn. The genetic makeup allows them to hide from sensors, but he doesn't know the incubation cycle as it depends on the species. Hemmer comes in saying the Goo Burns. Spock thinks it may be a way for them to blind their victims. Hemmer can't even telepathically pick up on the Gorn, which Spock thinks is impressive. Kirk blows up, calling Spock a pointy-eared computer. The only thing left to do now, since all but navigation was working, is to deal with the Gorn. La'an says no matter what, they must kill them. Only 2 are left now. They want to create a choke point and make the Gorn come to them. On the bridge, Pike uses his commands to start sealing off the ship as Uhura plays bait. Pike notes it's going into the vent and heading towards Spock. As Spock fires towards the Gorn, it ignores him. La'an says, make it angry! The rage in my thoughts I let into my heart. And Spock lets out a primal scream and gets the Gorn's attention. Spock turns and runs and is pulled through the door by Kirk as they trap the 2 Gorn, who then turn on each other. La'an shouts at the remaining Gorn, who starts to chase her into the cargo bay. La'an jumps into a pod, and Hemmer blasts the Gorn with super cold air. It's a Gorn-Cicle!
That scene was really for her to want to be bait for this thing, who's obviously gotten bigger and angrier. Mm-hmm. And the way it was running, and you get a chance to see that new special effect from the Gorn's point of view, is like just out of reach. Must kill and eat this person, and she manages to get in literally the nick of time. And this is when the puppeteering that they did was so effective, because you see it scrambling and trying its best to break through the glass to get her.
Yeah.
That was kind of wild.
And it looks scary.
Yeah, it was, with all the goo and stuff that's coming down. Mm-hmm. It's like, it looks like they had some left over from the boys' hero-gasm moment. And it was really,
Well, it's a good thing it wasn't xenomorph goo, or that would have burned right through that pod.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just a regular good old horny Gorn.
Yeah.
Horny Gorn Goo.
That was a good trap, what they did.
Yeah, it was, because we weren't privy to it.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah. Why didn't they tell us? I mean, come on. We would have been in on it.
Yeah. And Hemmer again saves the day.
Oh, man. That's a trip about Hemmer, because Hemmer is still the pacifist, but he comes in with the clutch right here. He hits the button and freezes the Gorn, and the Gorn's on ice.
He's giving me a Hemmer.
And technically, he still didn't kill the Gorn. He just froze it. Nope. So Lon comes in with the slam at the end.
And
yeah,
Hemmer,
taking a baseball bat to it.
Being an engineer and not even a bio person, when Spock says, that looks like the spit is venomous, and Hemmer's like, no shit, I can feel it.
Yeah, it stings.
It hurts a lot. Okay. It really hurts a lot.
They get a chance to reboot the ship, and they turn the bridge on, and Pike's command code is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Who do we appreciate? The Gorn. The Gorn.
That's like having a password like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's like the computer. Why didn't the computer come on and say, that passcode has been hacked in a database and you should change it? Because I'm so annoyed at that. I'm like, yeah, maybe they know the password been used in someone else has used the password, but nobody's using it with my name. Come on.
So that means every captain's passcode is in every ship?
Ooh.
Well, the computers are, they're issued the commands to, it's like when you log into a big computer system, everybody's got a login and a password, right? So you can log in on the network if you need to get it on the network. When whatever machine is on the network, you can get in on it.
Yeah, but the thing is sitting there, and it's like, imagine if Pike was like a new captain, and he goes, Pike, password 2468, user not recognized. Again,
I'm just surprised the computer's like, you need a stronger password. When you like put in a password and it has like little check marks, like you have to hit this point, you have to hit this point.
Yeah, there's no asterisk or a dash or use capitals.
But you got to remember too that his codes are based on not only his name, the passcode, but also his voice print.
Yeah, but still, I would have loved to seen if it's on the ship and the communications 2 days.
2, 4, 6, Hey.
It's like, please stand by for update. Confirming user. Standby time 2 days.
Yeah, right. Because it's that far away. It doesn't have to ping the network. It just has the password hashed in its memory core. I mean, come on.
So that means every captain, that means if I can go on the Enterprise and I could use my passcode.
Yeah.
So
yeah, as long as you're not, forbidden by Section 31 for some reason.
Please verify that you are not some inorganic. No. Like,
Make sure you're not an inorganic Borg
or an
or robot
alien
or android that is
know.
unauthorized.
Yeah.
Identify which one of these things are streetlights.
Yeah, that's
but
exactly what I was thinking.
They're all on the bridge, and Benga's got Oriana on his back, and he, I forgot, he confuses her with his daughter, so he's still missing his daughter.
So
He was animated and passionate, and in the moment, you just say stuff.
Yeah.
You don't realize you're saying it, and everyone looks at you funny, like you just said. You just called that kid your daughter. Oh.
And that's been the result of many relationship breaks up. And you're like, oh my God, Sally, this feels so good. My name is Stacy.
Oh no.
I was gonna say, my name is Steve.
Oh, sorry, Sally. I mean, Steve.
That's so messed up. Oh my God. But yeah, now the whole situation right there, Pike is deciding we got to do something about this. And so what's going to happen? And you get, where are we right now?
Well,
we're about ready to go to Act 4. But.
Yeah, but the scene where Sam Kirk starts to lose it at Spock and he calls him a pointy-eared computer.
Oh, wow.
And Pike shuts that shit down real fast.
Yeah.
He says, stop yelling at each other and start listening.
Right off the bat.
Hobgoblin.
Yeah. Well, he did the same thing his brother kind of did when Spock was all in love with the spores. And it's like, I'm tired of your half-breeded interference.
You can insult Spock. Spock does respond to shit like that.
Yes.
It does annoy him. He may be half human, half Vulcan, but he does get fully annoyed when you start talking shit to him.
Yeah, well, just like anybody else, after a while, he's like, I handled your shit for a while. I'm done.
Well, I mean, come on. He was teased relentlessly at the Vulcan Science Academy. So,
oh, this is true. So he does have an evil streak. And if you cut forward to the Kelvin films, Kirk was able to piss him off enough where he just tried his best to kill Kirk.
There is a fuse to Spock, and is not too short to get, you can burn through it. And release the rage. I just love that Spock still has this beast mode that we ever so rarely see, and we never see it in older Spock because he's a little bit smarter and he's more experienced.
Yep.
He's much more controlled mentally,
seasoned.
Yeah, but young Spock has got the hormones and can get turned upset.
Well, just like the whole thing there with number one. If you want to burn through number one's patience real quick while he's eating, just walk up over to his plate and take something off of it and chew it in front of him.
What?
Food off your plate. If you're eating and somebody walks by and takes half your sandwich, what will you do?
They wouldn't make it past
Told
their hand leaving the plate.
There you go.
That's the point I was making. So everybody's got a limit or a hot button. And that was Spock's. So it was kind of cool to see again Pike being the captain.
Oh, did I mention how cool the Gorn Cam was when it came down from the ceiling?
I know.
Upside down. That was fucking cool because you're like,
that was interesting.
What am I looking at here? And then you realize, oh, it's coming down from the ceiling. They're in the ceiling, man.
They're crawling up and up and down. They needed those machine guns with motion sensors. That was wild.
It's in the room, man.
Yeah.
You're not reading it right. I'm reading it right. It's in the room.
It's in the room. But just as always, he winds up being a badass at the last second. So, was it Hudson? No, it was Hicks. Hicks winds up being a badass. It was Hudson?
Hicks, sir.
Oh. Vasquez hurts alien. She thought they meant illegal and she signed right up.
Fuck you, anytime, anywhere.
Hey, Vasquez, you ever been mistaken for a man? No.
You?
It's such a classic. I saw that movie when I was active duty, and oh my God.
I own the anthology on DVD, and I own it on Blu-ray.
It's such an awesome. When we were in the theater, and
I watch it all the time.
And Sergeant Apone when he was talking and when he did the thing when they first get out of hypersleep, the whole theater was full of jarheads and we all screamed when he did that. When he went, look into my eye. Because that's a typical phrase in the military. When you have a superior officer who doesn't give a shit what you're telling them, he would take his finger, pull down his eye, and he'd go, look into my eye, what do you see? And the response is lack of concern.
I would have said blood veins.
So that was funny. Let's go to the next section because this was a really good episode.
Act 4. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the Gorn. Hammer at the edge of the platform. His takeoff. Perfect Pike position. He rips the entry. I hate funerals. Emerging from the pod, La'an finds a frozen Gorn, which she smashes to bits. Hammer comes out of his pod looking much worse for wear and says he must go outside. He knows he's infected, and La'an confirms that the goo was more than venom. It's how they reproduce. M'Benga and Chapel plead with him. They can find a cure, but he knows it's too late. He gives Spock the Vulcan salute, live long and prosper. Uhura begs him not to go. He responds with, open yourself, make a home for yourself amongst the others, and you will find joy more often than sadness. Hammer steps outside the cargo bay force field. Just like in Doria, he says, as he steps off the ledge. Back on Enterprise, they hold a memorial for Hammer, Duke, and Chia. Chia pet. Nope, sorry. Spock, still enraged, leaves the room, punches the wall in the corridor. He's let out his rage and now he can't control it, saying that his mind was weak. Chapel tells him that it doesn't make him weak, it makes him human. In Pike's quarters, La'an reports that she found a weak clue to Oriana's family origins and wants a leave of absence. He will square it with Starfleet, but regardless of how long it takes, he wants her to return. Uhura takes one last look around the bridge. Her eyes linger on the communication station.
That was a really kind of a cool moment that they did that, like a foreshadowing of what she's going to wind up doing. Mm-hmm. But also...
She was getting a Hammer looking at that communication station.
Yeah.
Wow,
man,
that's such a tribute.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This was the hardest and probably the best act of the whole thing because of all of the reaction to everybody to losing Hammer. It was so sad, and they really drew it out through the end and let everybody feel it.
Okay, so next season, Hammer's going to come back like Shax came back.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
He didn't go to the mountain.
Really sad.
What they missed showing, I mean, the effects work is amazing. You see him take the flying leap backwards off the ship and you see him flying down. But what they should have shown you is once he got to the ground, how many times he bounced off the ground because he was pretty high up. I mean, and he was definitely knowing this was a mortal jump. So, what a way to go out.
It really was because when Hammer died, I kept thinking to the last second, they're not going to kill him. They're going to find some way to save him. And when he stood out there outside the force field and he looks, is like this, like in Doria, my heart is like, oh shit, they really are going to kill him.
Yeah, it's like he's at home, man.
He's really going to die.
Did you guys like my Olympic diver dialogue? His takeoff, the perfect Pike position. He rips the entry.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Pike did the perfect Pike, but no, it was Hammer that did the perfect Pike.
And
he stood out there.
I thought my Frozen reference was even better.
Oh.
I wish he would have done laundry that day because he was wearing a red shirt and I felt so bad about that.
Yeah, I did notice the red shirt on the second viewing. I was like, oh, he's wearing red. Engineer red.
But
Don't you hate it when all your laundry's dirty?
Yeah, and then you have to wear the red. Mm-hmm. I was also insightful because he's been the sage for Uhura the whole time. He's been somebody who's been basically like a wise mentor.
You know, I could have gotten another 2 seasons with Hammer.
Easily.
But he was great.
Easily.
But when he stood out there again, it showed again how zen he is because most people would have freaked out. I can't believe I'm going to die. You know, what the fuck? I can't do this. If we could find a way to save you, well, do it. Find a way to save me. I don't want to die. But he stood there.
His purpose was complete.
Yeah, he's like, I came, I did what I did. And the last thought of his as he jumped off, this reminds me of home.
And FYI, the character of Hammer, obviously being a blind Andorian, the actor who played him is legally blind.
90%.
Yeah, lost his sight from childhood cancer.
Yeah,
so,
90%. So he
I
lost
just thought that was
90%
kind
of
of
his
cool that
vision.
they actually had a blind actor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's been one of the cool things about you hearing
I
about
agree.
this. It's like, oh, that's going to be interesting. Right away, it was like, oh, this Endorian guy is going to be interesting because he's an Enar and he's actually blind, playing a blind. Yeah, it was very cool. And then the first scene we see him, he comes right off as a badass. It's like, yeah,
Total.
they say I'm inferior. That's bullshit, you know.
But as engineering, this makes me wonder if they're going to open the door next season to have Scotty.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's
Because
interesting.
they're missing an engineer now.
Yeah, they have 2 new openings because Lan's gone too. So both Hemmer and Lan, the security officer, she's going to be
gone.
taking.
Yeah,
She's going on a mission to
that's right.
find
That's
the
right.
kids'
She's
parents.
taking a leave of absence. Yeah, so
Stop
she's going to
smoking
be
crack,
off
Captain.
the ship for a while.
Well, you left it on the table. So
The emotion though, they did that thing right at the end where Hemmer's decided he's gone, and they're trying to talk him out of it, and you get the cut of everybody's face reaction to this. It's just it hits
people hard,
and then Ortegas talking about it, memorializing Hemmer, and then Uhura says he's like a father and mending the heart that's broken, and his purpose was to fix what was broken, and he did. I was just, you think I was crying in the last episode? They really got me on this one.
This one was a real
so
tearjerker. It was, and you can't, even in life, when you have somebody who has such a large, stable, strong personality, you just can't believe that personality can be removed. It's like, how can he die? I mean, it was done for a horror
They take
episode.
a flying leap off the edge of a starship.
A backflip.
And it's a big move to remove somebody who's been almost like a main character.
Yeah, and then you see the one other thing I missed out on saying there, Spock's rage.
Oh, yeah.
He banged the wall. Spock was
That's
pissed.
better than begging chapel.
Yeah, well, I thought that was going to happen, but I know it doesn't happen in canon. So, and she gave him a hug.
Well, Chapel thought it was going to happen too.
Yeah, well, everybody needs a hug every
I
once
thought
in
the
a while.
hug was a perfect solution.
It was.
She was waiting for the kiss, and then he didn't kiss her, and he walked away, and she's like,
Okay. But imagine maintenance. Maintenance is going around the ship and they come up to that thing.
What the fuck happened there?
What the fuck happened? Seriously. What banged into this? Is that a fist? Who could have done that?
It's like, oh no, is someone like infected with Gorn babies? Did the Gorn babies get on the ship?
Oh, that would be next week's episode, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my, that'd be somebody wakes up from a dream.
I can't believe that this was the second to last episode. It wasn't even the finale, and we lost 2 major characters.
No, it's to have that happen towards the end was really interesting. And the spoiler for in the after show didn't even really give us an inkling what's really going to happen on the next episode either.
No idea what's happening next episode.
No. So it's going to be a surprise. This has got to be, I have to say, the fastest season of Star Trek that I've watched. It feels like we just literally got started and it's already done for this season.
I mean, the modern day season is still short, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, it used to be 22 episodes, 22 to
Can you imagine like 20,
episodes.
26 of these things? I mean,
oh my God,
wow.
when I was watching Supernatural, it was like 26 episodes to a season before they start paring it down.
Yeah.
So it's definitely was a really good episode. I enjoyed it.
I'm just upset that we get no new Star Trek and we have to go back to Enterprise.
Yeah, but we may be
really
getting to the
upset
part
about
where
that.
it turns good. We'll turn you into a fan yet. So we'll definitely turn you to a fan yet. So since you spoke, I'm going to ask you, what would you give this week's episode?
I give this week's episode an 8.5. I liked the episode. I loved how they used puppets for the baby Gorn. I am sad that we lost 2 characters, especially Hemmer, because, well, I loved both of them. I loved Hemmer and Lan. Who's the third one?
We
Lieutenant
lost
Duke.
Chia, Duke, and
Oh,
Hemmer.
but nobody cares about those red shirts.
that was surprising. I was, why isn't Duke wearing a red shirt?
Yeah, well, each color. Did you notice that? One of each color. So Duke was in yellow, the medical officer was in blue, and Hemmer was in red. So you had one of each color.
Yeah.
It was in order. It was in honor of Pride Month.
Oh, okay.
The rainbow. Very nice, sir.
Yeah.
Was it?
No.
No.
No fucking way.
Was it? Was it? Huh? Was it really?
No.
I think he's calling you out on that, sir.
Yeah. So let me shut him up and ask him this. What would you give this week's episode there, Pat?
I think I'm going to give it a 9.5. I mean, it was pretty damn good, and it was scary, which is not something that you normally get from Star Trek. And I loved all the references to Predator and to aliens and to, I just thought it was really fun. And there were a couple times I was like, damn. And then, it hits you with the emotions too when Hammer takes a nosedive.
Yeah, I have to concur. Hey, how about you, Chief? What would you give it?
Stop your grinning and drop your linen. I give us a 9.6.
Ooh.
It's just phenomenal. The alien stuff, I eat that up. That was great. I was enjoying that set in a Star Trek. This Star Trek Strange New Worlds is not defined by the kind of show it is, because it has been so many different shows depending on which episode you're watching. We've got the horror movie, we've got the thinking show, we've got the action show. There's so many different flavors in this series of Star Trek. I'm loving it. They're so versatile. The acting is so good. The camera and cinematography, the behind the scenes, the effects, all of it is top level stuff. It's so good. The music is all that. You can't do Strange New Worlds wrong whatsoever. These guys are hitting it out of the park.
I have to agree. Only thing is, I think they should have nuked it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
That would be the only way to be sure.
Way to be sure.
I will have to go along with both of you here on that. I think I would give it the same, about a 9.5, 9.6, because the horror element, as being a horror fan, as well as being a sci-fi fan, I think they did a decent job of marrying the two together. And even though you have people saying that it looks like Aliens and it looks like Predator, they still managed to give it a fresh little twist. Even though Aliens, you had to have a face hugger as a means. But to me, it's a lot more scarier to know that if you get spit on, there's no chance of abortion of those alien babies. Once you get spit on, you're done. Even the biofilters can't find them.
Ironically, the Gorn are pro-life.
Yeah. So yeah,
they'll eat their brother the second they come out of the womb. But yeah, this is some fucked up stuff.
It's a combination.
They're pro their life.
Yeah, right.
It's a combination of the worst predator creatures here on planet Earth. You have the sharks, which the babies will eat each other in the womb. You have how they come out, and it's just all the things mapped together. Patrick, you'll remember this part, I'm sure. It's one of Doctor Who's saying that if you had a creature that got good at hiding, that is so good at hiding you never know it's there, then when you get the feeling that somebody's watching you, that one of those creatures are actually in the room with you. This predator creature grew up being so good at being a predator that there's no way to stop him. You got a lizard that knows how to make a fucking starship? Damn. It's the one that they haven't came into Earth space and attacked them.
I heard they make really good alcohol too.
Yeah, they do. I forgot the name of it because I can't buy any. What is it? What is the name of the alcohol, Patrick?
Mirador?
Yeah.
Was it Mirador?
Something with an M.
Yeah, I much prefer the Romulan ale. So, but it was definitely a really good week. Hey, number one, what's the next week's episode title? Do you know? Is it out yet?
Yeah, it is. And give me a second. I forgot to write it down when I was looking at it earlier.
While you're looking it up, when you coming back from your away mission?
Never.
You would rather be on a dead starship than on the USS Butler?
That ship was torn up. He's got a lot of work.
Yeah, well, that's true. Aw.
Stop petting your tribble.
The name of the show for next week is called The Quality of Mercy.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. I'm going to look forward to seeing that. So, everybody, don't forget to check out our swag. It's going to be in the show note links. We get stuff that even the most pickiest buyer can find something that they will really like. Thanks, everybody, for listening to us for another good week. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Please remember, if you want to contact any of us, just send an electronic wave to The Collective at starfleetunderground.com. That address again is The Collective at starfleetunderground.com. Please be reminded, we have a hot dog filter, so no hot dogs. And also, if you send it, all of us will get it. And most of us would not like any pictures of hot dogs. But,
We
most
likely make fun of your picture of your hot dog.
Yeah, most
Yes, we will.
Depending on how it looks, I might not.
Patrick
and the
might
last
keep
one.
the picture.
Somebody likes hot dogs.
Yeah, and the last one that came, we put a hat on it with little spindly arms and googly eyes. So it was quite entertaining.
Having a group email is very convenient.
Yes. So please make sure that you go ahead and listen to us next week. And just don't have a great week, but make it so.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.